In the dark silence of deep space, something moved. It was far beyond the main worlds of the Empire, near the cold edge of a forgotten system. Here only machines remained. One of these machines, a lonely Imperial satellite, picked up as strange. Reading at first, the satellite sensors thought it was broken. The object it had detected had no ID, no signal, and no flight path. It was just ... there, but it was moving. Not drifting like a rock, not gliding like a ship. It was faster than any known spacecraft. The satellite ran the numbers again. Still no mistake. The object was moving faster than light speed. It should have been impossible. The satellite sent an emergency signal to Imperial Command Admiral. Cavor stood in the command center of Star Fortress 9, looking at the incoming data on the large holoscreen. Around him, officers whispered and typed quickly, trying to make sense of what they were seeing. "It has no registration?" Cavor asked. "No." "Sir," replied the officer beside him. "No signal, no heat signature, no engine trail. It's like it just appeared from nothing." Cavor frowned. The Empire's technology was the best in the galaxy. Even cloaked ships left traces, some heat, some movement in space-time. But this thing was clean. It's clean. Maybe it's a rogue drone, another officer suggested, or a new pirate ship using stolen stealth tech. Cavor shook his head. Nothing in our records moves this fast, not even experimental warp fighters. The room went silent, then Cavir made his decision. "Send a scout team. Quietly. I want eyes on this object. Do not alert the main fleet. I don't want panic. Not yet." The scout ship Indigo Wasp was small, fast, and lightly armed. Perfect for deep space missions. Its crew of 4 were some of the best in the Empire. Pilot Rena checked the ships. Systems as they approached the strange coordinates. "We're almost there," she said. Still no signal from the object. Her co-pilot Jace nodded. "Cloak is holding. Stealth mode engaged." The back, Sensors Officer Tala squinted at her screen. "Guys, ... I don't know how to explain this. The objective's watching us." Rena frowned. "Watching it has no signal. I know. But every time I try to scan it, our systems bounce back. Like it's scanning us at the same time." The 4th crew member, Tech Officer Dran, leaned over. "That's not possible. Scanners don't work like that unless suddenly alarms." Blared. The object moved. "It's heading toward us." Tala shouted. "Engines too full. Back off." Rena pulled hard on the controls. But no matter what they did, the object stayed perfectly behind them. Not close, not far. Just matching their every move with perfect silent speed. "No weapons detected," Jay said. "I don't like this. It's toying with us." Then, just as fast as it came, the object stopped. The Indigo Wasp hovered in space, engines burning quietly. The crew held their breath. On the screen, the object just sat there. It had no clear shape. Not round, not square. Just a smooth, dark form, like a shadow-given form. It looked almost alive. "What now?" Tala asked. Duran answered quietly. "Now, we wait ... or run." Back on Star Fortress 9, Admiral Kavir watched the live feed from the Indigo Wasp. The visuals were fuzzy, glitching. The object was jamming their tech somehow, even without sending any signals. Then something unexpected happened. A bright flash filled the screen. No sound, just a pulse of light. Then ... nothing. The object was gone. The Indigo Wasp reported no damage, no signs of attack. But the crew felt something like something had reached inside their minds and looked at them, Rena reported. "It didn't attack. It didn't speak. But we weren't alone out there. That thing. It saw us. In the Imperial Palace. High. Above the capital world, the Empress watched the same footage. Her advisors spoke in fast voices, arguing about what it was. Alien craft? A ghost ship? A weapon?" She raised her hand. Silence filled the room. "This is not an accident," she said. "We just met something faster, smarter, and quieter than us." She looked at the stars above. "Find it now." The Empire launched. More scout ships. They didn't go in large groups. Oh, that might look like an attack. Instead, they sent single ships, silent, hidden, careful. Their mission? Find the strange object, track it, and learn what it wanted. But every ship that went out returned with nothing. No sign, no clue. It was like the object had disappeared. Then, 6 days later, it returned. It appeared near Sector V9, close to a mining station orbiting a gas giant. The station's workers were the first to see it. At first, they thought it was a sensor arrow, just like the satellite. But the object didn't stay hidden this time. It hovered above the station for almost 2 hours. It didn't attack, didn't speak, it just watched. The miners locked down their systems. They tried sending messages. No answer. Then, just as before, the object moved fast. Too fast. It vanished into deep space. Admiral Kavir stood before the Empire's council. Behind him, a holomap showed the object's movement. "This is no random event," he said. "This ... thing Whatever it is, can travel across systems in seconds. Our fastest ships take hours, a general interrupted. Then it's using a jump drive. Kever shook his head. No, there's no warp flash. No energy spike. It's just dot. Gone one moment, then somewhere else the next. Like it folds, space or ignores it completely. The council members looked uneasy. Is it a threat? One of them asked. Kever didn't answer right away. It hasn't attacked, he said finally. Watching us. And now, it's getting closer. The Indigo Wasp crew had been ordered to stay on base for questioning. They had seen the object up close and the Empire wanted answers. Pilot Rena sat alone in the dark. She couldn't stop thinking about the moment the object scanned them. It hadn't just scanned their ship, it had looked inside their minds. She was sure of it. In the medical wing, Tala spoke to a nervous scientist. It didn't feel alien, she said quietly. It felt C, familiar, like something I've forgotten, but used to know. The scientist frowned. That doesn't make sense. No, Tala replied. But neither does that ship. 2 days later, the object came back, but this time, it didn't stop above a mining station. It headed straight for an Imperial cruiser. The ISS Valiant was a powerful warship. Armed with the best weapons protected by energy shields, it was not meant to run. When the object appeared on their scanners, they prepared for battle. Captain Rilo gave the order, shields up, target it. But the moment they tried to lock weapons on the object, the ship's systems failed. Lights flickered. Engines shut. Down, shields dropped. It was like the ship had been frozen in space. Then the object moved closer. Crew watched it on screens, no one dared speak. It came within 100 meters of the ship, and then stopped. Something pulsed from it. Not a weapon, not a beam, just a soft vibration like a heartbeat. Everyone aboard felt it. In their bones. In their minds. Then the object turned. And left, just like that. Power returned to the ISS Valiant. Captain Rilo's hands trembled. It didn't attack, he said quietly. It could have destroyed us, but it didn't. Back on Star Fortress 9, scientists studied the sensor data. One thing stood out just before the power failed. The object had sent out a strange wave of energy. The pattern was not random. It's a signal, Dran said, but not a language. More like ... music. Rena listened to the playback. The sound was low, rhythmic, deep. It made her heart beat faster and slower at the same time. Tal stared at the display. That's not alien. She whispered, that's human, or something very close. Everyone turned to look at her. What are you saying? Kever asked. I don't know, she said. But I don't think this thing is a threat. She paused. I think it's a message.
Guys.
That night across the Empire, sensor arrays picked up strange signals. They came from deep space, repeating. One line over and over, do not follow, then silence. The Empire had seen many enemies, pirates, rebels, aliens. But this was different. This was a warning. The warning message kept playing, do not follow, was sent across dozens of systems. Every time the object appeared, it gave the same message, no weapons, no violence, just that same cold line. But why, and who was sending it? Admiral Kever ordered his top scientists to study the signal deeper. Maybe there was a hidden code. Maybe there was more they weren't seeing. He didn't expect what they found. Dran and Tala sat in the science lab, staring at the decoded message. We ran. The signal through every filter, Dran said. We didn't find a hidden code. We found something else. He tapped on the holoscreen. A pattern appeared. Not random, not alien. It looked like a pulse, like a heartbeat. It's old, Tala whispered. Matches a signal from a long-lost Earth colony. Dran nodded. It's human. Very old human. From the early Terran era. This message came from people who once lived on Earth. Kivor didn't speak for a moment. You're telling me this object? This ship, ... is Terran? Not just Terran, Tala said. Something even stranger. She showed the full message. Hidden under the surface frequency was a name. A Terran ascendancy. The Empire had always believed Earth was lost. Long ago, during the first expansion, humans from Earth spread to many stars. Some colonies thrived, others vanished. Earth itself was believed to have been destroyed in a massive war. The few survivors had joined the early Empire, or so history claimed. But if this Terran ascendancy still existed, that changed everything. They had survived, and they had grown strong. The Empress was not pleased. She called a private meeting with her most trusted officers. We've built this empire for 300 years, she said. We control over 900 worlds. We've crushed rebellions, defeated alien fleets, bent entire species to our rule. She pointed at the floating image of the phantom object. And yet one ship, just one, can paralyze us. Kever stepped forward. We believe there are more ships. This one is just a scout, The Empress's eyes narrowed, and we are being studied, tested. Another officer, Lord Heron, added, "If the Terrans have truly returned, they may. Want revenge? We abandon them. We erase them from history." The Empress turned to Kever. "Find out what they want. Use spies, use lies, but do not let them control the story." Meanwhile, far from the capital, in the quiet systems on the edge of known space, something was changing. Ships were going missing. Small stations were being scanned by unknown drones. Every sighting showed the same Tecteron design, but evolved far beyond anything the Empire understood. On one outpost, a maintenance worker named Eri caught a glimpse of something unusual. Drone repairing a broken satellite. It didn't look Imperial. It was clean, fast, and efficient. Before she could report it, the drone vanished. But on her control panel, a message remained. "Fix what you broke, then leave." She showed it to her commander, who laughed. But 2 days later, the outpost's AI system updated itself. New tools appeared in storage. Old machines worked better than before. Someone was watching, helping, and warning them. Back on Star Fortress 9, Rena couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the object. Its movements, its silence, the strange feeling it gave her, like it didn't want to fight, but it wouldn't let the Empire near something important. She looked at old flight records. Hundreds of years ago, Earth's ships had explored beyond. The stars. Some reports mentioned strange jump shortcuts through space. Secret pathways. What if the object wasn't using faster-than-light travel? What if it was using something older, something forgotten? In the deep archives of the Empire, hidden under layers of secrecy, a discovery was made. A lost Terran ship log. Over 280 years old, its final entry said, "We go dark now. The Empire has left us behind. We will build our own future quietly, and one day they will return. When they do, we must be stronger." Underneath the log was a name. Project Ascendancy Now. Everything made sense. The object was a product of that project. The Terrans hadn't died. They had hidden. They had evolved in silence, in secret far from the Empire's control. Now, they were back, and the message was clear. They didn't want to be found. The Empire had no choice now. The mysterious object was Tirana's ship from a forgotten human past. And it was not alone. Every day, more sightings were reported. Strange. Craft near black holes. Silent watchers above quiet moons. Drones fixing damaged satellites. And then vanishing. The Terran Ascendancy wasn't just surviving. It was everywhere in a hidden Imperial lab. Dran and Tala worked without sleep. They finally cracked the energy pattern used by the Terran ship. It wasn't warp drive. It wasn't jump tech. It was something new. It folds space, Tala said. Not like warp tunnels. This is more ... elegant. Clean, no ripple, no trace, Dran added. And the tech. Part machine, part living. System. It's grown, not built. Admiral Keever listened carefully. "You mean they've merged with AI?" Dran nodded. Not just merged. Evolved together. They became something else, Tala said. Not human, not machine. Something. In between? The Empress was furious. She called a secret meeting with top command. "How can we fight something that doesn't attack?" she asked. "They give no demands, no threats. Just warnings." Kever spoke calmly. "They've shown power. Haven't hurt anyone? They could have destroyed our scout ships, our stations, even our cities. But they didn't." Another general growled. "That doesn't make them friends. It makes them dangerous." The Empress nodded. "Then we send a message. A diplomatic team. We'll offer peace, but we'll also show strength." The Empire's envoy ship, ISS Harmony, was sent into deep space to ward the last known location. Of the Terran ship, the crew was handpicked. Diplomats, scientists, linguists, and one warship hidden nearby for protection. As they entered the strange, silent region, all systems slowed. The stars around them flickered. Space felt thicker. Then a light appeared. Not a ship, not a planet. A structure, floating in space. Black as night, live with soft blue veins of energy. The Terran Ascendancy had revealed itself. The Harmony stopped. No weapons, no message. The diplomats tried to speak. They used every frequency, every code. No answer then, without warning. The light changed. A message appeared on every screen in every language. Turn back. The diplomat replied, "We come in peace. We wish to speak." There was silence for it. 37 seconds. Then came the response. "There is nothing to discuss. One last attempt was made. We are both human. We share the same origin. We can learn from each other." The reply was soft and final. "You chose conquest. We chose growth. We are not the same anymore." The structure vanished. So did the ship. Back at the Imperial capital, the Harmony was declared lost. No wreckage, no signal, just ... Gone. The Empress called it a betrayal. It destroyed an unarmed envoy. That is an act of war. But Kever disagreed. I don't think they destroyed the ship. I think they removed it. Removed? They're protecting something. A secret. A location. He paused. Maybe even a new kind of life. Meanwhile, in the outer systems, a strange event took place. A war fleet preparing to enter deep space suddenly stopped moving. Not one shot was fired, and not one enemy seen, but every ship lost power. Every weapon failed. A new message appeared. We will not warn you again. Then all systems came back online. The fleet turned around. Back in the palace. The Empress made her decision. We will avoid Terran space for now, but we must prepare. They may come for us. Kavera gave her a quiet look. Or we may be the ones chasing ghosts, in places we were never meant to go. Far beyond Imperial reach, the Terran Ascendancy watched. From their hidden world, a planet made of light and metal, minds spoke through thought and machine. Are they ready? One voice asked. No, came the answer. They still believe. Strength is domination. Another voice joined. Then we wait. A final message echoed across the stars, carried on a silent wave of light. We are not your enemies, but we will not be your prey. The stars were quiet again. No more ships vanished. No more messages came. Terran Ascendancy had disappeared as suddenly as it came, but the Empire was not at peace. Fear had spread. Fear of what lay beyond. In the war room of Star Fortress 9, Admiral Kavir stood before a new map, showed a large section of deep space marked in red, restricted, no entry. That was where the Terrans had been. No Imperial ship dared go near it now. Kever stared at the borderline and whispered, They didn't just stop us. They drew a wall. Beside him, Tala added, and that wall means something important is behind it. Like Earth, Dran asked. Tala shook her head. No, something more. Earth is their past, but this is their future, and they don't want us near it. Meanwhile, the Empress made a public speech across the Empire. She spoke with strength and pride. The Empire fears no one. We have met the Terrans. We have studied their tech. We will match them. We will rise. The crowd cheered. But not everyone believed her. Some remembered the silence of the Ascendancy, the ships that never returned, the systems that simply shut down when approached, and the warning that echoed across the stars. Rena, Jace, Tala, and Dran crew of the Indigo Wasp were sent to the outer archive station. A quiet place far from the core worlds. Officially, they were there for research. In truth, they were being watched. The Empire didn't trust anyone who had made contact with the Terrans. They think we're infected, Jay said one night. Rena replied, Maybe we are. Not with a disease, but with an idea. What idea? The Empire might not be the strongest anymore. Late one night, Tala received a signal. Not through Imperial systems. It came directly into her personal padan. Old one she never. Connected to the main network. The message was only 3 lines. You listened. You learned. You are not like them. She showed it to Dran. Is it them? He whispered. Tail only nodded. No return address. No signature. But she knew who it was. The Terran Ascendancy was still watching. Across the galaxy, strange things began to happen. A broken colony ship on the edge of known space was found repaired, powered, and ready to fly. An old mining world suddenly had. Working weather systems again, though no team had been sent. Small acts, quiet gifts. But they all came from nowhere. The message was clear. Grow or fall. Kavar returned to the palace for one last meeting with the Empress. He laid out everything: logs, signals, ship data, and the true message of the Terrans. They are not here to fight us, he said, but they are drawing a line. We can stay on our side and survive, or we can cross it, and disappear. The Empress stared at him. Are you afraid? I'm awake, Kever replied. She said nothing more. Just waved him away. But later that night, she stared out her window at the stars, at the red borderline glowing on her map, and for the first time in her rule, she felt small. Far beyond, on a planet no Imperial map had ever shown, the Terran. Council gathered not in a building, not in a room, but as shared thought, shared light, shared mind. They still chase control, one said, but some listen, said another. Then we leave the door open, just a crack. And together, we sent one final signal across the stars, across the silence. Not a warning, not a threat, just a message. We were human once. We remember what it means to fear. We will not become monsters. But if you force us, you will not survive the second meeting. In the Empire, the signal was recorded but not broadcast. It sat hidden in a deep vault, waiting just like the Terrans.